name is Julian DeRosier. Welcome to Minds and Money in London. I'm here with the IIF, International Investment Forum, joined by Jason. Hi Jason, how are you doing?
I'm very well, thanks.
Good. Jason, first of all, for the viewers that don't know you, could you introduce yourself and the company you're working for?
Okay, I'm the Managing Director of PolarX. We're an ASX-listed junior exploration company.
Okay, great. And then, so PolarX doesn't give much information about the commodities or your location. Maybe if you can tell us a little more about that.
Sure. So our projects are based in North America, in the US. We've got projects in Alaska and Nevada. We're focused on copper and gold in Alaska and gold and silver in Nevada. Okay,
and how advanced are those projects?
So in Alaska, we've got 2 resources across 2 projects, and we've recently done a scoping study. We're in the middle of upgrading one of the resources, and we'll feed that into upgrading the scoping study. We're earlier stage in Nevada, so we're just in the earlier stages of exploration. We've done 2 rounds of drilling, but we're still working on narrowing down where we might find a resource.
Okay, great. Well, and scoping study gives you already an idea of what production could look like, of what's happening, obviously reserves, and you're going to say it's going to be maybe upgraded with a new resource coming out and so on, but what were a bit the highlights of that scoping study?
One of the reasons why you do a scoping study is to limit the amount of rabbit warrens you run down, and it really is good exercise in refocusing you on a production scenario with your exploration. So what we've done is eliminated a lot of possibilities of what we should focus on. If we've got a combined plant, it would be a sulfide plant, so now we know with one of the projects it had a combination of oxide and sulfide. It's narrowed down those targets into purely the sulfide targets, and we can see that we've got a minimum threshold we're yet to achieve, but we're rapidly closing in on that to say then we would be comfortable in telling people we could start a PFS sort of phase.
Okay, yeah, exactly, and this is very important because obviously at one point when you start having economics, when you start to have project, when the project starts to develop, you go on from more and pure exploration play into understanding geophysics, geology, and all of those, rather than trying, as you said, focusing on production and what actually the choices down the line are going to be for the production. You need to right away start focusing on those right now. So with that in mind, what's the time map on that?
On a resource, I'd say we're looking at the next 4 weeks.
Okay, so very, very close.
Yeah, and for a scoping study, it'd be a couple months after that. So we might have to do some more designing on a mining situation, like mine design, because we think we're going to significantly change some of the interpretation in this resource. So yeah, it'll take a little bit longer to feed it back into a scoping study to get the numbers out of that.
Great. And how do you see the little pop we just saw in gold, basically in the last month? Gold raised about 7 to 10%, reaching about $2,000. Did you see a lot of happy and smiling people around you with that commodity growing and your project being linked to it? What's your take on it?
Actually, we've had a lot of inquiries, particularly about our Nevada assets. People were wondering, if we're interested in further discussions on those, and it's all about the gold price and people seeing where gold's going. I haven't come across anyone that thinks it's going backwards. I think the expectation is that for longer, with a lot stronger for longer kind of thing. A lot of optimism around the gold price, which doesn't necessarily mean there's a lot of optimism for global economies.
No, exactly. Yeah. This is a very different conversation for sure, and we saw reshuffling of the geopolitics sphere, especially in Europe in the past 12 months or 16 months. So for sure, it's one doesn't mean the other, and usually actually quite on the opposite. But then, so in Nevada, you said that you were going to have a new drilling campaign, or you just completed one?
Okay, so we completed one in December last year. I will drill again, but once I've done some further geophysics. So I'm looking at the geophysics crowd being on the ground mid-May, and then I would like to start drilling by the end of June, early July, and continue the drilling up until Christmas again. which you can do. We did that last year. You get a bit of snowfall, but you can get some quite productive exploration going.
Well, if you ask any Canadian viewers right now, drilling is possible even in the snow, even in high mountains. So Nevada should be not too bad.
Well, funny you mentioned that. I used a Canadian crew from the Yukon. So.
There you go. So see, one specialist to another. So and lastly, can you discuss a little more about? So we discussed about what would be coming on both projects, updated scoping study with the updated resource first, then more drilling being done, more geophysics and so on in the Nevada project. So what does a company share structure look like, and how much money you have on hand since the last published financial, and what can we expect in the near future?
Right. So we raised capital last December, and in that raise, Northern Star Resources came on and took 10% of PolarX. So that's been a significant corporate milestone for us. We've got Rougher Gold Fund as our largest shareholder, only 12%, Northern Star at 10%. We've got a very strong institutional base to our registry. So for us, the validation of Northern Star about our assets really helped with the Australian market, because it's the retail side of the market needs that sort of validation more than anyone, because then they go, well, we don't know ourselves what the assets are like, but we trust that a major mining company has had a closer look with professional staff, and they've chosen our company to come into.
Well, this is always, as you said, it's a great validation. It's a great tap on the shoulder. It also helps to really set the basis of the next work, having something on to rely on and to help you with difficult decision, and something decision that pays off only down the road, but that they have already been sure that they already help other companies with. So for sure, those kind of when you have those investors coming in, it's a validation. Retail investors like that, but also other institutional, other professionals also really love that, as you're not the first one coming in having a big chunk of the company and seeing how it goes, and it gives you already obviously a lot more money to play with. So regarding that, what would be your cash on hand since you're, well, the last published financial?
The last published financial was end of December, which was about $2.5 million cash on hand.
So we can expect surely a raise within year end or something like that.
Oh, well, that's what explorers do.
Exactly.
If I don't raise money, I don't get out and drill holes, and the stock goes backwards anyway. So
exactly, no doubt about that. Jointly, and how many shares are there out there right now?
Okay, well, we've got about 1.3 billion shares on issue. That's it.
All right, well, good. Well, you heard the story. Story is very interesting. PolarX, go check it. How can they check and reach and get more information online? Basically, do you have a website address?
We do, polarx.com.au.
There you go, very easy. Please, if you enjoyed what you listened to, if you enjoyed what Jason was saying, just go on the website, get a look, download the presentation, reach the management directly. Jason, thank you very much for your time. Very interesting, and best of luck with the project.
Thank you.